It is my honor to introduce our graduate, Bjorn Petersson. I want to go back and start with day 2 of my journey of teaching at RMS. I was lucky enough to be part of the team that got to christen the North Campus academic building, and we were all excited for the new space, the teachers and the kids alike, and for different reasons. We had new classrooms and new materials. They had lockers and new microwaves that the kids were allowed to use independently for the first time. I smell it before I hear the squealing. Burnt noodle smoke mixed with melting plastic and high-pitched noise floods the hall to all the rooms in the new building. Bjorn had forgotten to add water to his instant craft mac and cheese cup before setting it on high for 4 minutes. Miss Linton swiftly removed the burnt microwave and sat it outside with us at lunch for about a week, looking like the Clampetts just around the corner from where we had just cut the opening ribbon the weekend before. That was my introduction to Bjorn. Bjorn's Swedish, and you can tell from his love of all things Norse and Vikings, but you cannot tell from his complexion. He uses the handle Golden Boy on virtual games because of a woman who made a comment about his tan one time, or at least that's the story. Bjorn's known for his wild imagination, and he loves a good story. His imaginary friends from lower elementary will tell you so. He now uses this incredible imagination to inspire his beautiful artwork, to power his insanely inventive engineering projects for STEM, and to talk myself and others into things that we didn't realize we were agreeing to until it's too late. When we were hiking humpback rocks for geology, he was one of the first to lead the charge up the steepest part of the rock face. Before I could even speak, he read my mind and said, "It's fine, Miss Parham. Sam is a professional." Bjorn has a contagious energy and a competitive nature. When we were at the bay for our field study, there was a definite mosquito problem, and it was hard to keep them out of the cabins, so a mosquito kill and count game began. Bjorn took it very seriously, and his trip journal was covered in blood. In fact, he would purposefully open the cabin door and let more in so that he had more to kill and add to his tally. When I brought up my cabin's count and the game at community meeting, Bjorn looked me right into the eyes and said, "This isn't a game, Miss Parham." His competitive side also shows up in debate and his daily shenanigans with his peers, especially with his oldest friend, James. Every other spring, we learn about commercial farming in the food industry before we work on an organic farm in Asheville for a week. When asked at the farm for one word that describes how he felt about his experience, Bjorn's word was enlightening, and it suits him. Bjorn seeks understanding and knowledge in all endeavors. He wants to be aware and informed. Bjorn has big questions and a profound curiosity for life. It's going to be hard to ever forget him, most likely because he's going to be famous, and I have a feeling it will be because of some invention that the world doesn't even know it needs yet. It will be born from his curiosity, imagination, artistry, and intelligence, and then he will convince us that we need it, which we probably will. He can do anything he puts his mind to. Bjorn Petersson, it was such a pleasure to guide you through your middle school years. I know you will thrive at collegiate and beyond, and I can't wait to see your path unfold. Congratulations. It is my honor to introduce our graduate, Miss Johanna Schneck. I remember Johanna moving up to North Campus, and it was easy to spot her every day because she was constantly in an ankle brace or some kind of boot. It felt like she rarely had 2 actual shoes on during all of upper elementary. I guess that's what happens when you've been dancing daily and competitively for close to 10 years. If you saw Johanna and her bows and all things sparkly, you would think that we had a very effeminate little miss on our hands. But then you put her in a gaga pit and watch her cutthroat side just dominate the competition. She makes good use of those dance skills and flexibilities to rage and repeat. This applies to games of manhunt as well. Don't let the scrunchies fool you. Johanna is scrappy. Known to her friends as JuHee Yi, this young lady is both incredibly observant and generous, with her energy and with her things. The sheer amount of Sour Patch Kids that she's shared with me over the past 3 years is embarrassing. I've seen her patiently, for days on end, share her locker goodies with even the youngest friends who come to visit the middle school building for carpool. She's also one of the more organized teenagers I know, but orderly doesn't necessarily translate to clean. Here are 2 concrete examples of this. Moldina, her 6th grade Science Expo slime mold pet project, and that tiny, moldy, shriveled pumpkin that grew new life in locker number 33. Her kindness and empathy extend past her classroom into the larger global community. Every other year, our field study is a trip to Asheville to work on Hickory Nut Gap, a local organic farm. At first glance, Johanna wasn't into farm life and the chores that came along with it, but she bucked up and ended up embracing digging in the earth and cleaning stalls. But bigger than that, after reading Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan and learning about the commercial food industry while working the farm, Johanna made a lifestyle change and took the stand that she would become vegetarian. She embraced it so wholeheartedly that she took this conviction home with her and as a result, changed the way her whole family ate. Johanna is a cornerstone in our middle school community. She has grown to be a strong leader with the natural ability to guide and redirect her peers in a respectful manner. Johanna's working memory is impressive and her work ethic is impeccable. She's incredibly patient. Her teachers and friends can count on her consistency and often look to her for guidance. In many ways, she's the class mom, keeping her friends' lives in order, and that's just part of her observant nature and big heart. She doesn't miss a thing, and you'll know it if you've misspelled a punctuation on a worksheet or sit down to listen in on her spilling tea. She sees it all. It's her ability to see details and also the big picture that will make Johanna an excellent lawyer someday. And if that doesn't work out, she's a talented musician who plays the piano, the ukulele, and writes her own songs. She even tells Taylor Swift one-liners when her teachers ask for jokes. Is Jace Schneck the next T Swift? I'm so honored to have guided you, know you, laugh with you, and be your teacher friend. I can't wait to watch from afar as you continue to move upward and onward. Congratulations.
It is with honor that I get to introduce Laila Talibi. I feel certain Laila is going to branch out into one of 2 professions. She's either going to be one of the most influential chefs in this world or a top-rated television psychologist that specializes in communication and negotiation techniques. Honestly, Laila, I don't know what we're going to do without your baking skills and your raspberry bars. Laila, you are a gentle, compassionate, and loving person, which is probably why you are so good at addressing and mediating challenging situations during group projects. You have this intuitive gift of relating to others, and you are able to bring a fresh perspective on issues. You are a carrier of peace, you love everyone unconditionally, and you see everyone's potential. Your friends value your wisdom and trust your instincts. But don't get me wrong, Laila. We have witnessed your hangry side before. At least you know your limits, and we know to stay out of your way when you need food. But you always make sure to be graceful about it. During our field study at Hickory Nut Gap Farm, one morning before breakfast, I could tell something wasn't quite right with our usual jovial Laila. She was walking around kind of sighing, taking deep breaths, and finally, after the 3rd time I asked, "What's going on?" you broke down and said, "I'm just hungry, Senora. I need food." And sure enough, once you ate, you were back to moving through life with grace. One of your greatest strengths in leadership is that you lead by example. You lead others by doing and showing what needs to be done, and you seek out ways to help. You generously help those around you. I don't know what we, as teachers, are going to do without you. You know all the major due dates, and you always keep us on track. So Laila, I would like to present you with your new Montessori nickname, Yummy Mediator. Wear it with honor. Now it's time to show the world how you shine. I am honored that Joe Turkaly thought of me for his introduction for graduation. Let me begin by saying congratulations on surviving my teaching since the 4th grade. That's a lot of years of having one teacher, Joe. But I am excited for what's to come for you, and we will miss you dearly. Joe, your calm, even, patient tone brings the necessary balance to our community. But you also have a quick wit that we appreciate. I'll never forget some of your quick-witted one-liners. On our farm field study to Hickory Nut Gap Farm, I remember the day you perceptively said, "Facts don't care about your opinions." Or the day sitting in math class when we heard you say, "Ew, is that a fraction?" Or the first day of middle school, your 7th grade year, and we were all outside trying to get to know each other, and we were doing the sliding scale. The teachers were asking questions, and you all had to choose one side or the other of the two choices. My question to the entire community was, which is your favorite Disney princess? Ariel from The Little Mermaid or Elsa from Frozen? You and James wouldn't move. Both of you stood in the middle and would not move. James crossed his arms and nodded his head and said, "Moana." And you were standing right beside him and said, "Yes, Senora. You left out the best one. How could you leave out Moana?" I realized your spirit animal in that moment is the bear because you stand for courage with silent strength and confidence. You gain inspiration in nature. That's where you find balance and comfort. You are a protector and strong support for family and friends, and you have a great deal of patience and focus. Perspective matters to you. While you worked on your position paper topic, strengthening international cooperation to combat cybercrime, it was impressive how you were able to set your personal viewpoints aside and examine and narrow your topic using your member states' Lebanon's lens. You used your leadership skills and you rocked during committee sessions. You were poised and able to convince others to form alliances when writing the draft resolutions. And for that reason, I gift you your new Montessori nickname, Nimble Debater. Embrace it well. I wish you all the best, Joe.
Hello, my name is Cassidy Houston. I'm here to introduce Mr. Aaron Watson. I'm the middle school math teacher. And so during my first year at RMS, I met Aaron as an assistant to 6th grade science, just like Garv. Aaron, like Garv, was another member of the prestigious and self-acclaimed Rocket Boys. Within the Rocket Boys, Aaron did not have the largest voice literally or figuratively, but he was the glue that held the team and that rocket together. While the other two members were at times more concerned about how big of an engine they could attach to their model rocket, Aaron was always focused on the details that ensured the rocket was assembled correctly. I've already shown the video of the first launch of this rocket. And to be honest, I'm not going to apologize for showing it again because it's absolutely amazing content. But instead of focusing on Garv's blood-curdling no scream at the end or LJ's counting at the beginning, What you may not have noticed in the first watch of this video is Garv yelling, "Aaron, hold it, hold it, hold it," right after the rocket launches. So watch, clue in, and see if you notice that here on the second time, and I'll give you a little bit of perspective about that after we watch the video. We're recording. Make sure you hang tight.
We are about to launch the rocket, and I'm going to record it, not the ground.
T-minus 10 seconds. What? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Whoa!
Hold it, hold it. Hold it.
Oh no, the parachute!
Did it explode, Garv? No.
Hold it there. And what he's referencing is Aaron was responsible for estimating the height of the rocket's flight by measuring the angle created by the apex of the flight. So when the rocket goes up, he's looking and looking through this empty pen cap to see the apex of this flight. And so while the other members of the group were enjoying the view from below, Aaron was frozen like a statue until someone came over with a protractor. Aaron didn't care about being the one who clicked the button to launch the rocket or record the video. He didn't mind taking the less glamorous but still very essential work of this experiment. And I believe that this summarizes Aaron to a T for our middle school community. He is dependable and he is selfless. And these are characteristics that may not show up on a standardized test, but surely will set him apart in his life after RMS. It's been my pleasure and a privilege to teach Aaron for these past 2 years or 3 years through 6th grade science. And it's my honor to introduce Mr. Aaron Watson here for graduation.
All right. First, I would like to thank all my varsity and JV players for the great cold season that we have. And unfortunately, the spring season didn't end up the way we liked it. That's something we can do. Anything we can do on that. Anyway, now I'm introducing James. James is that kid. Since the first time that I saw him, I saw something there. Usually as a soccer coach in college, high school, in Italy, now with our school, if you have a player that is, you can tell. And James, from the beginning, I saw that he was very ready to learn. He asked questions. He wants to know. And during the drills, he tried until he got it right. And now, I'm not saying James is perfect. He makes mistakes. When he makes mistakes, he knows. And he tries to correct them the next time of this game. He's going, from JV. He started being a leader after 4 or 5 games. That was it. Kids listen to him, and with varsity even more. He's a big kid, and one thing that I can see myself a little bit, Jay doesn't like to lose. And that was the same with me. But, unfortunately, James, sometimes you lose, and there is nothing you can do. You can win every time. So, when you lose, just, suck it in, try to do better the next time. And sometimes you play against teams that are better than your team. And you're going to lose, okay? But that is something that, it's not just on the soccer field, in life. And, having you, James, is a coach or a soccer coach or football coach, any coach, having a player like James and some others from our school, yeah. Having somebody like James is luck. because there are not many so dedicated, so as I said, ready to do everything to get better. He's a leader. He's a leader during practices, during the games, and he's a good coach because James, with some other kids from the school, is helped with the younger kid, the 6 and 7 years old kid, and they love her. They love him and they love the other coaches. And so I see in James maybe a leader in the future as a coach or as a player or both. Okay, that now his brothers are coming up, Matthew and Reed. So I'm expecting from them the same I got from James, and before James, from John. And Woodward is a good soccer players factory. So thank you, Megan and Tom. James, good luck. Come and see us you will, because your brother's gonna play. And I hope you do very, very well, not just in school, but on your life. Okay? Thank you very much. Bye.
If you met JuHee Yi, as I did, when she was a student in upper elementary, you would have seen a shy, quiet little girl. My main interactions with her were during carpool, and she would answer if I said hello or goodbye, but she didn't make eye contact or she didn't invest herself any further in a conversation. If you meet JuHee today, you see a confident young woman who can be counted on to take a leadership role whenever the situation asks for that. She is smart and funny, she is kind, and she is thoughtful. She will notice right away if a classmate is upset. She will step up as soon as she sees something that needs to be done. When we traveled to New York City for the Montessori Model UN in March, JuHee was the person who gave the 5-minute warnings. She reminded us all to be sure we had our IDs and our wallets for lunch. She was the one who ran back to the room accompanying a student who had, despite all the reminders, forgotten their ID. JuHee was not a lover of reading when she came to middle school, so you can imagine my surprise when she showed up at the end of 7th grade with a copy of Stephen King's Pet Sematary. She read it and then went on to read It. Carrie was next. JuHee knows that Stephen King is not just the master of a horror-filled plot, he is actually an excellent writer, and he has influenced JuHee's own writing. In Humanities, we looked at a photo essay about life during COVID-19, and I asked the students to choose one photograph and respond to that. JuHee chose a picture of someone in Easter Bunny costume walking through a neighborhood waving to children from an appropriate social distance. JuHee wrote, "I thought it was nice of that person to do that, especially since everyone's stuck at home and it encouraged people to go outside. It is also a little creepy in my opinion because who's in the bunny costume?" JuHee knows how to have fun. She rocks a good TikTok dance. Over these past few weeks of quarantine, it's been fun for us adults to get online a little bit earlier before our morning meeting starts, just taking time to chat with the students or hear their silliness. And pretty much without fail, every day, JuHee is kneeling on her bed doing fancy TikTok dance moves with her hands and her upper body. There was a time, pre-social distancing, when JuHee and another student tried to teach Senora and me how to do their TikTok dance. Imagine our surprise when Maureen Williams came through with a small group of potential RMS parents and found both teachers and students TikToking it out in the middle school space. It has been a joy to know you, JuHee, and to watch you develop into the remarkable young woman that you are today. I will miss you. Please come back and tell us all about the wonderful things you will do in the years ahead. Here are some words from Emily Dickinson. Goodbye to the life I used to lead in the world I used to know, and kiss the hills from me just once. Now I am ready to go.